welcome back to my channel. But if you're new here, hi, my name is Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me. I do post new nail tutorials every week, so if these are the type of videos you enjoy, feel free to subscribe and turn your post notifications on so you don't miss out whenever I post a new video. Getting right into today's video, I'm really excited to be sharing with you guys how I apply these gel extension nail tips. Now, I'll be using the Kiara Sky Soak Off Jelly Tips Starter Kit in today's video, and I know most of us are familiar with the Apres GelX system. This is quite similar to that, and this kit really does make it easier for you to do your own nails at home, or if you're a nail tech and you want to introduce this service to your clients and you're not even sure like how to start, or if you do use it and you're having problems applying it, I'm going to share with you guys from start to finish all my tips and tricks so that this is going to last. So once you purchase the entire kit, it does include this Beyond Pro Flash Cure LED light, which is so freaking cute. So on the box, it does share with you the features that are included in this little mini light. So inside of the box, you do get a warranty card as well as your instruction manual. And this little light does have two curing settings, and I love the fact that they did include the block for the USB adapter. So thoughtful. And as you guys can see, it is open on all sides. It does have like a non-slip grip at the bottom, which is really nice. It's not going to be sliding everywhere on your desk. Of course, you get a nice long USB cable, so I'm just going to plug this in really quickly. As I mentioned before, there are two curing settings on this light. There is a 60 seconds timer and a 45 second timer. Once you press the button at the back of the light, it's going to automatically start at 60 seconds, but if you double press it, you're going to get 45 seconds. Remember, this is a flash cure light, though you are going to need a more powerful light to fully cure these jelly tips. So this is everything that is included in their Jelly Tip Starter Kit. It does come with an instruction manual. Of course, your full jelly tips. I picked up the long coffin. Steps 1 to 4, which is your prep, your primer, your builder, and your top coat. And of course, that Beyond Pro Mini Flash Cure Light. So like any service, you want to start off with proper prep. Prep is key for any enhancement application. Whether you're doing an overlay, acrylic, gel enhancements, no matter what, prep is important. So to start my prep, I am using the Melody Susie's flat end cylinder bit. Now this is a diamond bit and I do love using it. I love their diamond bit set, and I do have the Melody Susie link in my description box as well as my discount code. Now I do use some of the bits, I don't use all of it, but I will definitely recommend you picking up this set. So with this bit, I use it to go around the sidewalls and cuticle area, as well as gently push back my client's cuticles with this bit as well. And I am using this with my Kiara Sky Beyond Pro Rechargeable e-file. Now I am working with my e-file at above 4,000 RPMs for this step. Next, I'm taking my Kiara Sky medium grit sanding band and their Mandrel bit, and I'm going to use this to go around the cuticle area as well as remove the shine off of the natural nails. Now I am still working with my e-file at 4,000 RPMs. Having my e-file at this low speed is not going to cause any damage to the natural nails, and it's also important that I keep my e-file parallel to the nail plates at all times. If I were to hold my e-file at any angles while doing this step, I can cause indentations and imperfections on my client's natural nail plates, and there's a possibility I can even cause rings of fire, which is going to be a discomfort to my client, and I do not want to do that at all. With my Melody Susie ball bit, and I did move my e-file up to 6000 RPMs, I'm gently buffing away any of that stubborn cuticle that has been left around the cuticle area. However, a really quick disclaimer, I haven't seen my client in a hot minute, so she did have a major overgrowth of cuticle, so I had no choice but to go in with my cuticle nippers and remove that. So it is coming up, and if you have a problem with watching that part, just feel free to skip ahead. I am almost finished with my nail prep, taking my Kiara Sky 100 grit rectangular hand file. I'm just going to shape the free edge of her natural nails. And because she usually keeps the free edge of her nails trimmed, shaped, and nicely groomed, I didn't even have to go in with my nail clippers. In this case, my final step is to trim the excess cuticle, and today I'm using a cuticle nipper that I'm not accustomed using. I am using these bigger ones, and that is because during the lockdown, your girl cleaned out and decided to get rid of her smaller nippers and forgot to replace them when we reopened. But hubby did do the sweetest thing. He did go to the nail supply store and replace them for me. So I didn't have them to do this video, but I do have them now. But the thing about this one is that it's nice and curved, so it made it really easy to get around the cuticle area. So I didn't have an issue with using it. Now I don't have a problem in doing this step. However, I only do it when it's absolutely necessary. And that is it for my prep. I'm taking my Kiara Sky dust brush and I'm just removing all the excess dust off of these nails. After I do that, this is what the nails look like, really nice and prepped, clean and ready to go. However, I did repeat the same thing on this hand, and this is the hand that we'll be doing today's design on. So now I'm going to start measuring out the long coffin jelly tips. Now you do want to make sure that it fits perfectly from sidewall to sidewall. Even if the cuticle area does need a little bit of adjusting, that's fine. Your main focus is the side walls. Now here I did go one size down so you guys can see. It fits perfectly on this side. However, I do have to apply some pressure in order for it to fit on that other side. You don't want to do that because then eventually that nail is going to cause a suction, and with any little bunks, your client would bounce your nails or you would bounce your nails, they are going to pop right off. So always make sure that it fits perfectly from sidewall to sidewall. If the cuticle area needs adjusting, you can adjust it with your hand file. And I did have to adjust some in this video, so I'll show you guys exactly how you do that. Again, with my Mandrel bit and the medium grit sanding band, where the natural nail is going to come in contact with the jelly tip, you do want to remove the shine from inside of the nail tip. So what I like to do is once I'm finished with this step, I always place the jelly tip over the nail plate to make sure that it's etched enough. Even if it's a little way past the natural nail bed, that's fine. I rather it be that way than not etched enough. And you want to make sure there's absolutely zero shine left inside of that nail, like none at all, because that is going to cause that area to lift. After I do that, I'm taking the same sanding band and I'm going to go on the outside of the nail tip around the cuticle area, and I'm going to thin out that area as well so that it lays nice and flush. And now we don't have much filing to do to seal in the cuticle area once we apply the jelly tip. So after removing the shine off of this nail, I did have to adjust the cuticle area to fit a little bit neater. But I did use the e-file with my sanding band to do this. I don't really prefer doing it this way, but I did want to show you guys like you can do it with the e-file as well. However, my preferred way to actually shape the cuticle area of the jelly tips is with my hand file. So on this nail, I am just removing the shine from the inside and outside around the cuticle area. And then I'm going to measure the jelly tip again with my client's natural nails to see how much shaping the jelly tip needs to do. And this one didn't have that much. So I'm taking my 100 grit rectangular hand file, lining that jelly tip up to the natural nail and following the cuticle area as best as possible with my hand file. And this is just going to lay nice and flush to my client's cuticle area because it will look as though it's her natural nails once I seal that cuticle area in when I'm finished filing and apply my gel polish. For the pinky nail, I did have to switch out my drill bit, and I am using the Kiara Sky Silver Typhoon fine bit, and this is going to help remove the shine from inside this nail because my Mandrel bit cannot fit. After I do this, I did go ahead and use my Kiara Sky dust brush, removed all the dust from the entire hand as well as inside all of my jelly tips. Now I'm taking step 1, which is prep, and this is a dehydrator, and I'm going to apply this over the entire natural nail. I'm taking the primer, which is step 2, and I'm going to be applying this to the natural nail as well. So the builder is step 3. Now this is a very thick consistency, so you do want to try to get it as nice and thin and even as possible across the entire nail plate, especially the side walls. Now I'm not going all the way to the cuticle area. I am leaving a hairline space between the cuticle area and where the builder gel is going to be on the natural nail plate. After I do this step, I am going to make sure that there is no product on her skin. If I see any, I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to pop it into my Beyond Pro rechargeable LED light, and I'm going to cure it for a full minute.
Standing right here. I know that I told you we're over. I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Till the morning light, yeah. Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Till the morning light, yeah. Maybe I'm just too weak. Maybe I'm just afraid of being alone. Well, I don't care, 'cause right now I feel the love that we said we would burn. Oh,
So her natural nails are prepared and my jelly tips are ready. I'm going in with number 3 once again, which is the builder, and I'm going to be applying this inside of the jelly tip where her natural nail is going to come in contact with that tip. Now once I'm finished doing that, making sure to get it from sidewall to sidewall, I then used the excess product remaining on the brush and pass it at the edge of the cuticle area on that jelly tip. This is just going to ensure that I have enough product to prevent any air bubbles from inside of the jelly tip. If you get air bubbles inside of it, then you're going to cause humidity to settle right in that little air pocket, and that is going to cause a lot of problems. So once I'm happy with the way that the nail looks, I make sure there are no air bubbles. I am going to line that jelly tip up to the cuticle area and slowly move that gel downwards towards the free edge of her nail tip. Make sure that that nail is nice and straight. It's fit nicely from sidewall to sidewall, and then I'm going to take the flash cure light and I'm going to flash cure this nail in place. Now as you guys can see, holding the nail and holding the light is so easy because it's open. So therefore I can position my client's hand, I can turn it, I can do whatever I want because of the freedom of movement in this flash cure light. Now remember, this is just to flash these nails in place. When I'm finished applying all the tips, I am going to pop her hand into my Beyond Pro rechargeable LED light once again, and I'm going to cure it for another minute.
just listen, I miss you.
If I see any excess gel squeeze out around the cuticle area or sidewalls, I will remove it before curing it. Another thing is that you don't want to apply too much pressure to these nail tips. You are going to weaken them by allowing too much gel to come out, 1, and then 2, the nails are then going to create a suction because you have applied way too much pressure. There is not enough product between the nail plate and the jelly tip, and that is going to cause it to pop off as well. Now that the application is cured and out of the light, she did want them a little bit shorter, so I'm going right underneath the number on the jelly tips with my nail tip cutter, and I'm just going to trim them down a little bit. Now you do want to trim if necessary before doing this step. So I'm going in with number 2, which is the primer, and I'm going to be applying this underneath the jelly tip. Now I'm going to allow this to dry, and it's going to dry with a sticky layer, which is going to help the builder gel to adhere to this part of the nail tip. That is why I didn't bother to prep it. So now I am taking number 3, which is the builder, and I'm just going to apply a nice thin even layer underneath the jelly tip. Now this is going to add strength to these tips, and it is going to cure with that tacky dispersion layer. So after curing this for 30 seconds, I am going to take it out of the light, and I'm going to apply number 4, which is the jelly tips top coat, and that is a no wipe gel top coat, and then I'm going to cure it again for a full minute, and this is adding strength to these jelly tips. So if you're having problems with your jelly tips breaking from by the natural free edge or anything like that, definitely try this method. It will give extra strength to these jelly tips. So now everything is cured. It's time to file these babies back into shape, and I am taking the Kiara Sky 100 grit hand file once again, and I'm going to start at the side walls and then across the free edge of the jelly tip. Next, I'm taking the Kiara Sky 100 grit pink buffer, and I'm going to buff over the entire surface of this nail. I am using the buffer on the 100 grit side to do this. And as you guys can see, that shape is already coming in. So I'm just going to continue these 2 steps, which is buffing over the surface of the entire nail, as well as using my rectangular hand file to reshape the free edge of the extensions. So now I'm going to seal in the cuticle area, and for this I am using my Beyond Pro Rechargeable e-file by Kiara Sky, as well as their purple medium 5-in-1 bit, and I am working with my e-file this time at 6,000 RPMs, and I am not putting any pressure on my e-file. I'm just working it around the cuticle area and sidewalls, and I'm not leaving my drill in one spot. I am continuously moving it, picking it up off the nail, putting it back down, because anytime you leave this drill in one spot for too long, it is going to cause rings of fire. So the final step that I'm going to take when it comes to filing is I'm going back in with the Kiara Sky 100 grit hand file, and I'm going to continue to redefine the shape of my nail tip. And then once I'm happy with the way that it looks from my angle, I turn my client's hands around, make sure that everything is nice and even and all those nails are nice and uniformed. If any of the tips are slanted, I'm going to take this opportunity to even them out and just make sure that everything looks nice, neat, sharp and crisp from her point of view as well. And isn't that shape just so sexy? But I wasn't happy with the cuticle area on this nail. I did go in and do a little extra cuticle work on this one. So after sealing it in again with my 5-in-1 cuticle bit, I did take that medium grit sanding band on this nail to continue to just seal that cuticle area in. You always want to watch your nails. Make sure you're completely happy with your application, your shape, your cuticle area, everything before moving on to that next step. So I did go ahead and cleanse these nails, remove all the dust, and now I'm going back in with step 1, which is the prep, and I'm going to use this to cleanse over the entire jelly tip. Now you can also use step 2, which is the primer, and it is going to create that tacky dispersion layer. You have to allow it to dry so that it would help adhere your gel polish to the jelly tip. However, because I buffed the surface of this nail, I did create a textured surface that would allow my gel polish to adhere properly to these nails. So now I'm taking Etiquette First by Kiara Sky, and I'm going to be applying a nice thin even layer on all the nails, and I'm going to use my alcohol and my cleanup brush to remove any excess product off of the cuticle area and sidewalls. I'm also using that brush to help maintain the shape because I am going to go in with a second coat of this gel polish. So after applying the first coat, I did cure for 30 seconds. So isn't this color pretty with just one coat? Like, this is what it looks like as it came out of the light. And if you're looking for a nice shade nude for French base, I will definitely recommend this one. Even though I went in with 2 coats, you don't have to do 2 coats. I just like when I'm doing a French on anybody that the cuticle area is nice and opaque, so that is why I'm going in with a second coat. But as you guys can see, I'm not even doing a thick second coat because it still looks really nice and sheer. And this is actually one of my favorite nude powders as well as gel polishes by Kiara Sky. And one thing I forgot to mention to you guys, like every single product that I use and mention in today's video is going to be linked in my description box below. And if you've stuck with me up until this point, drop me a white heart emoji in the comment section below. So for this nail, it is going to be my croc print nail, and I'm starting off with my Madam Glam's blooming gel. I'm just applying a nice thin but even layer of this on the nail. I didn't go in with a generous amount because I don't want it to bloom that much. If you want it to bloom a lot, you go in with more blooming gel and then you just remove the excess before you pop it into the light. For me, I just wanted a little bit of a bloom, like just a bit. So I didn't go in with such a thick coat of blooming gel, and I am using Madam Glam's Perfect White as well as their fine liner brush. You guys know it's not a stranger to my channel. I absolutely love this brush. So basically you're just going to be adding large dashes down the center of the nail, but because this is a coffin shaped nail, you have to know exactly where to position larger lines so that the nail does not start looking out of shape. So I did start with a short line towards the cuticle area, and then I started to get bigger in the center of the nail. I started to get shorter again closer to the tip, so that way the nail actually maintains that slim coffin shaped look. And then on the edges, you're going in between each one of those dashes with other dashes. So all I do is put a dollop of paint at the tip of my brush, and then I would place it where I want it and then drag it to the thickness that I want it to be. And that's basically it. Like, I love doing croc prints because of the imperfections in this design. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect at all. And when I'm happy with the way that it looks, I just went ahead and removed all the excess blooming gel along the sides of the nail to maintain that nail shape once again. And then I popped it into the light and I cured it for 30 seconds. So on these next 2 nails, I am going to be hand drawing a French tip. So I'm starting with my Madam Glam's white gel paint and the same Madam Glam liner brush, and I'm going to create a V connecting at the center of the tip, and then I'm going to draw a line across so it looks like an A. And now I'm starting to curve the line that I drew across the center, making sure that it's nice and even on both sides. And what I like to do when I'm drawing a French on someone else is turn the hand around so that I can see what it looks like from their point of view, so that way I can see if it's even on both sides. So taking my liner brush, I am going to start thickening up that French line. So when I start with the applicator brush from the Perfect White gel polish, it's not going to mess up that smile line. And I'm not going to cure this just yet. I am just going to go ahead and play around with it until I'm completely happy with it. If I see anything that needs fixing, I am going to go in with my cleanup brush and remove any excess paint or polish anywhere. Once I'm comfortable with the way that it looks from her point of view and mine, then I'm going to allow her to cure this nail. Now I did do 2 coats of this white, and I did cure for a full minute after that second coat. And once this nail was fully cured, I did go ahead and repeat the same steps to the other French nail. The only difference on that nail, I did not use my Madame Glam's Perfect White Gel Polish. I did use their white gel paint and the Madame Glam's applicator brush to apply the French to that nail. So I did give you guys 2 different ways to accomplish a French tip, but using the same techniques.
You're the traveling kind, it's a known fact. Yeah, I know that. Once you've seen all the things, all the places, I hope it means that you'll come home to me. Once you've traveled the world, all the spaces inside your heart, I hope I'll be your end destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation. I hope I'll be something that you won't let go. I'll be your high when you fall down low. I hope I'll be your end destination. You're far away and yet so close. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, you're up in space. You're inside the noise. I can feel you. Once you've seen all the things, all the places, I hope it means that you'll come home to me. Once you've traveled the world, all the spaces inside your heart, I hope I'll be your end destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation. I hope I'll be something that you won't let go. I'll be your high when you fall down low. I hope I'll be your end destination. You're gone now.
So doesn't this look pretty so far? We did take this middle finger and we added 3 rhinestones to the center of the cuticle area. And I am using the Kiara Sky Bling It applicator as well as the Kiara Sky rhinestones in the color Honey Pot. And I did adhere my stones with the not polished diamond gel. I went ahead and cured everything again for another 60 seconds, and then off camera I did apply my Madame Glam's Velvet Matte Gel Top Coat. So that is basically it for today's video, guys. I hope it was helpful and you enjoyed it. If it was, don't forget to like this video as well as subscribe if you haven't done that just yet. And I would love to know your thoughts on today's design in the comment section down below. That is it for me. I hope you're having an amazing day or night, whatever time it is where you're watching from right now. As always, I would love for you guys to stay glamorous, be safe, and I'll see you soon.